My name is Emily, and this is the December I learned that one man with a clipboard can ruin Christmas. Or at least try to. But I also learned something else. When you mess with a mother trying to give her daughter a little joy, you're picking a fight you can't win. The first crack in the piece of Ashwood Lane happened on the night I plugged in the Christmas lights. It was December 1st, cold, crisp, the kind of night where you can see your breath and everything feels still. My daughter Lily stood beside me on the porch wrapped in her puffy purple jacket, bouncing on her toes. "Mommy, do it! Turn them on!" I clicked the switch, and instantly the warm golden lights glowed across the house, soft, gentle, nothing extravagant. But to Lily, they might as well have been fireworks. She gasped, clapped, and whispered, "It looks like a cozy hug." Those words, they hit me. Because the truth is, this year had been hard, harder than I let anyone know. Her father left last spring. My night shifts as a nurse kept me exhausted. Money was tight. Smiles were tighter. Christmas was the one thing I knew I could give her. Some magic, some warmth, something that felt safe. For 30 beautiful seconds, we stood there soaking it in. And then, of course, he appeared. A tall man in a charcoal grey HOA jacket walking down the sidewalk with a clipboard tucked under one arm like he was delivering subpoenas. His face was pinched, stern, and he approached as if my Christmas lights were weapons of mass destruction. He didn't wave. He didn't say hello. "Ma'am, these lights are not permitted." That was his greeting. I blinked at him, confused. "I'm sorry, what do you mean?" He tapped the clipboard with his pen. Section 4B, holiday exterior illumination may not be displayed before December 15th. I actually laughed, thinking he was joking. December 15th? That can't be real. Who waits that long? "Our association does," he said, not even flinching. Lily's face dropped instantly. Her little mitten tugged at my coat sleeve. "Mommy, no!" I felt something twist in my chest. "Sir," I said, forcing calm into my voice, "they're just simple lights. They're not bright enough to bother anyone." He didn't care. I swear the man was powered by rules alone. "You have 24 hours to remove them," he said flatly. After that, fines begin at $125 per day. My jaw loosened. "Sir, I'm a nurse. I barely have time to hang these once, let alone play a removal game with your policy." He didn't even blink. Compliance is mandatory, and then he turned around and walked away as if he'd just informed me my trash pickup day changed, not that he crushed my kids' excitement on the first night of December. Lily's eyes filled with tears. And something in me snapped, not loud, not explosive, just a quiet breaking point. Because this wasn't about lights, this was about joy, childhood, magic. A memory my daughter deserved. I looked down at her and said quietly, "We're not taking them down." The next morning, a bright red violation notice was taped to my door. The kind of red that screams, "You're in trouble," before you even read the words. I grabbed it and marched inside, dialing the HOA office. And guess who answered? "HOA office." "Donnelly speaking." "Of course." "It's Emily," I said. "Ashwood Lane." "About the lights." A long breath. "Yes, I remember. I'm not removing them." Silence. Then a slow, irritated inhale. "Mom, are you refusing to comply?" "I'm refusing to ruin my daughter's Christmas because someone decided on an arbitrary date." Ray's tone went cold. "Then fines begin tomorrow." "Sir, I can't afford that. That is not the association's concern." And then he hung up on me. I stared at the phone for a full 5 seconds, stunned. He hung up, on me, over Christmas lights. That night, after my shift, Lily was already asleep. I stepped outside into the cold and looked at our glowing lights. They made the house feel alive, warm, safe. I didn't just keep them up. I added more, just a few strands on the bushes, a little touch of sparkle along the porch railing. Not out of spite, no, out of principle. But apparently, principle is Donnelly's worst enemy. At 7 p.m., sharp the next evening, there he came, storming down the sidewalk like I had personally vandalized the neighborhood. He didn't knock, he pounded. I opened the door. Can I help you? His eyes went straight to the lights. You added more. Yes, I said simply. I did. His jaw tightened to a level I didn't know jaws could tighten. You are now being fined $250 per day until all lighting is removed. Sir, I said, stepping closer, do you understand what these lights mean to my daughter? To me? He didn't blink, didn't soften, didn't even pretend to care. This is your escalation notice, he said. Good night. He turned away again, as if dropping punishments was his hobby. But here's the thing, when you push people, they push back. That night, I texted a few neighbours I trusted and told them what happened. Apparently, I was not the first, or the second, or even the 10th. People had been bullied over mailbox colours, patio furniture, holiday wreaths, the shade of their garden mulch. Everyone hated the rules, but everyone feared the fines. When they heard what happened to me, something shifted. The next day, 3 homes put up Christmas lights early. The next, 4 more. By the end of the week, 22 houses on my street were glowing. Donnelly walked down the block slowly, looking around in horror, like Christmas had staged a coup. He couldn't find 22 families. He knew it. We knew it. And that's when someone whispered the words that changed everything. We need a vote. An emergency HOA meeting was scheduled. And if you've never been to one, imagine a courtroom mixed with a family reunion mixed with a riot. That's basically it. The room was packed. Residents lined the walls. People held printouts of fines, violations, angry emails. The HOA board sat at a long table, all stiff suits and fake patience. And at the far right end sat Donnelly, arms crossed, chin up, like a man ready to defend his kingdom. When the floor opened for comments, the first neighbour spoke about getting fined for having a pumpkin on her porch 4 days after Halloween. Another man said Donnelly measured his grass with a ruler. A woman said he threatened to tow her car because the tyre was 2 inches over the driveway line. Everyone had a story. Everyone had a bruise from his rulebook. And then they called my name. My heart hammered, but I walked to the microphone anyway. I didn't want to sound dramatic. I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to rant. So I told the truth. I put up Christmas lights on December 1st because my little girl needed something good this year. And instead of joy, instead of kindness, instead of compassion, I got a man with a clipboard telling me to rip it all down. Not because it bothered anyone, not because it was dangerous, but because he could. People murmured. Some nodded, some actually applauded. I continued, these rules aren't protecting our neighbourhood, they're controlling it, they're scaring people. And an HOA should never make families afraid to celebrate holidays or enjoy their own homes. When I stepped back, the room erupted in applause. The board looked rattled. Donnelly looked furious. And then they put it to a vote. Not just about the light policy, but about whether Donnelly should remain the HOA representative. The results weren't even close. The light rule changed immediately. Christmas lights allowed starting December 1st, no penalties. And Donnelly? He resigned 10 days later. That night, as I tucked Lily into bed, she looked up at me sleepily and said, "Mommy, we won Christmas." I kissed her forehead and whispered, "Yes, we did." And the best part? The next year, on December 1st, the entire street lit up, bright, bold, beautiful. Neighbours who barely spoke before were laughing on lawns. Kids were racing around with candy canes, and homes sparkled like gingerbread houses. All because one little girl smiled at a string of lights, and one stubborn mom refused to let anyone take that smile away. If you loved this story and want more real HOA drama, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss the next episode. And tell me in the comments, has your HOA ever gone too far? I might feature your story next.